Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. As you can see, I chopped my hair off, but that's not what this video is about. This video will be my September wrap-up. I managed to read 5 books in the month of September, and I think that's a pretty good amount considering I'm working a full-time job and always tired. So let's just get into the books and my thoughts on them. The first book I managed to read was Fate of the Fallen by Kel Cade. This is an epic fantasy book that comes out in November, so I managed to read an arc of it. Fate of the Fallen comes out in November. Yay. I talked about this book briefly in my most anticipated books of 2019 video, which I will leave linked in the info card up above if you're interested in watching that. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. This book is about a young man whose best friend happens to be the chosen one of this prophecy, who he'll like save the world and go on this quest and do all this great stuff, and the world will be saved. However, his best friend ends up dying right at the beginning of the novel. This is not a spoiler, this is what the book is about. So the best friend ends up dying, and now our main character is like, well, crap, what do I do now? Our chosen one is dead, so what's gonna happen to the world? So it's basically about him going on this journey to let people know that the chosen one's dead and to then figure out the next step. I really enjoyed this book because it kind of takes the chosen one trope and flips it on its head. It has a lot of humor in it. The dialogue is very funny in this, but it also has that serious side because the world's gonna end. Somebody needs to save it. The person who's supposed to save it is now dead. So it's basically about like the resilience of mankind and trying to move forward and work together and all this kind of stuff. It is the first book in a series. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I really enjoyed it. It's coming out in November, so keep your eye out for it. The next book I read is actually one of my favorite books of the year so far, and it is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Maharin. This is a young adult fantasy novel that I am just completely obsessed with now. I also was able to read an art copy of it, however it is not out now, so you can actually go pick up a copy for yourself. This book is about a young witch who runs away from her coven and her mother, who is just like a horrible person. She wants nothing to do with it, and so she goes into hiding. However, she comes across a witch hunter and things go from there, and this is an enemies to lovers novel, and it is just so good. I absolutely loved this book. The main character, Lou, is absolutely so hilarious and spunky and sassy and has so much attitude. I could not get enough of her. I also am completely in love with the love interest in this book, the witch hunter. His name is Reed, and all of his life he's grown up hating witches and fighting witches, and he's a part of this group that their job is to hunt witches, and he comes across Lou, who kind of puts him in a little bit of a predicament. They end up having to get married because of this public incident. So not only is it enemies to lovers, but it also has the fake relationship / fake marriage trope, and I couldn't get enough of this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I couldn't stop reading it. So good. The next book I picked up was Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey. This is an adult romance, or new adult depending on how you look at it. It's very steamy, very romantic. However, there was just a little bit missing for me. I didn't really like how the two main characters, the love interests, interacted. I thought the guy was very pushy and very, I don't know, he was very protective, but not in the cute way. He got a little too pushy and was always kind of controlling, and I didn't really like that in this. I will say that the steamy parts were definitely steamy. So if you're looking for something that's like a quick read and you don't really want to think about it too much and you just want something fun and romantic and very steamy, like I said, this will be the book for you. Other than that, I didn't really care for it. I didn't really care for the ending too. I thought it was a little bit rushed. All in all, I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy it, but it's not something that I will ever read again or anything like that. And then the next book is actually probably another one of my favorite books of the year. It is Frankly in Love by David Yoon. This is a young adult contemporary novel. I read the arc of it right as it came out, and I was just obsessed with it. I can't stop talking about it with all my coworkers. I'm trying to get all of them to read it. It's just phenomenal. Also, I do want to mention how beautiful this cover is. The sprayed edges. I also have a signed copy here on the inside. Looks pretty cool too. And let me show you. Oh, look. It's signed. This is one of those books that's very character driven and it's so emotional. I cried many times throughout this, or got choked up many times. I also was able to connect to this novel a lot, which is something that I do look for in a novel, at least a little bit. If you don't know what Frankly in Love is about, it is about a young man named Frank Lee. He's a young Korean American, and he falls in love with a white girl. And his parents want him to be with a Korean girl. That's a very simple explanation for this novel. However, there's so much more to that. There's a fake relationship trope in here. It's between Frank and another one of his friends, happens to be Korean, and so there's that trope in here, and I connected to it because I was the white girl in a Chinese and white relationship. And so the things that happened to Britt, who is the white girl, a lot of it happened to me, and I really empathized with her. However, what's great about this is that it is through the perspective of Frank. So I was really able to get in Frank's head and really understand how he was feeling about the whole situation with Britt, because he does love Britt, but it's very hard for him to choose between his relationship and his family, because his family would basically disown him if he dated anybody other than a Korean girl. They ended up disowning his sister, who married a black man. I was able to get into Frank's head and really understand my own relationship that I had with my ex and everything that happened. So it actually helped me, heal and understand a little bit more. But there's so much more to it than just that Korean American and a white girl relationship and the fake relationship as well. There's a lot of discussion about race. There's a lot of discussion about family dynamics and, right and wrong, and there's illness, and there's just so many hard-hitting topics in this book, and I couldn't get enough of it. I would really recommend it to a lot of people. It's so good. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, of course. And then the final book I read in September, I read an arc of, but I do have the finished copy here, and it is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This is an adult fantasy book that follows a young woman named Alex as she embarks on this journey to become the Dante to this secret society that helps to keep other secret societies in check at Yale. Alex is able to see ghosts, which is actually something that is valued to become a Dante, so she's able to keep ghosts away. She also has a past, and she has a lot of trauma in that past, so you're also kind of getting the mystery behind what happened to her, how she became who she is, as well as the main mystery, which is a murder that happens on campus. So Alex is trying to figure out what happened to this girl, as well as to kind of heal and move on from what happened to her. This is a very, very dark novel, guys. I go into more depth about this book in a reading vlog that I did for it, which I will leave linked in the info card up above. I talked a lot more about it. I talked a lot more about the trigger warnings in this, so I would go check that out and see more of my thoughts on this, but I personally really, really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I just loved how dark it was, and I can't wait to read the next book in the series. So there you have it, everyone. These were all the books that I read in the month of September. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please comment down below and let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought about them. Please like this video and subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you all next time. Bye!